Hey, I'm Taya Kennedy, and my goal is to read 15 books this summer. And so I want to share the books that I plan to read. Now, I'm trying to use this summer to catch up on reading challenges, so I have two that I'm concentrating on. First of all, I host one of them, the Black Horror Reading Challenge, where you read horror books by Black authors, so I'm trying to catch up on that. I have a few books on the list for that, and then I also have this other one that I'm doing called the Free Black Women's Library Reading Challenge. And that is all about reading books by Black women. So there's a lot of overlap here, and that's what I'm focusing on this summer, just trying to get through these reading challenges, trying to do my best. I love reading challenges because they give me a sense of achievement when I'm reading. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And so let's get into the books that I plan on reading this summer. The Secret World of Maggie Gray by Granger. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this book, but I know that it has a magical HBCU, and it has all these like different magical creatures. Like, it's got like sirens and vampires and all kind of stuff, and I think there's some kind of mystery. I don't really know much about it. I'm pretty sure that the synopsis was incredibly vague on purpose, so going into it blind is going to be fun. I have heard good things about it. I have heard a lot of people talking about it, so I'm intrigued. I don't always do well with books that everybody likes. Usually I don't necessarily like the same books that everybody else likes, but we finna see. Next we have Soul of the Stone by Sharina Harris. Now this is a sequel. I read the first book years ago, Sign of the Slayer, and the first book was about a vampire slayer. Like, we're just gonna keep it simple. I prefer simple synopses because I don't like to go into books knowing too much, so I'm not gonna tell you too much either. The publisher really failed this series because I got this book, the first book, before it even came out, and all this stuff. I loved it so much. I was super hype about it, and then I literally did not even know that the second book came out until like a year after it was already out. Like, I was waiting on announcements and all this stuff, and nothing happened. Like, I don't know if the publisher just gave up on it or what, but I'm not giving up on it, and I am finna read the sequel, and I hope that I love it as much as the first one, because I highly recommend the first one if you want to see a Black vampire slayer and Black vampires, you know. So yeah, I'm really excited to read the sequel. So, and then 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. This book has been everywhere. A lot of people have talked about it, and it is about these two people, and I think that they used to be together, and then they both became writers. And so I know that they meet up at this writing event one time, like they run into each other, and then he tells her, she's a romance author, and he tells her, when are you gonna stop writing about me? And then we were like, And so it's supposed to be like this great romance book. I started years ago, but I wasn't in the mood, so I put it down. So I'm interested to come back to it and see if I really enjoy it. I have been having trouble with romance lately. It's like, I have always loved cutesy and fun romances, but it's like now I'm kind of getting out of that, and I want more depth to my romance, because I'm not just reading for distraction anymore. I'm reading to actually like feel more. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a romance that kind of like gives me a lot of feels, some emotional depth and things like that. I'm hopeful. But like I said earlier, I don't do well with books that everyone else loves. Like, I tend to not like books that everyone else loves. It's not like I'm trying to be like, you know, funny or anything, but it's just like I don't like the same things as everybody else. So we're gonna see how I feel about it, but I'm incredibly excited to try it at least. And then if I like this one, I want to read some more books by this author. Then we have You Should Have Been Nicer to My Mom by Vincent Torrado. This is a horror book. Just like I said, I want to get some horror in there for the Black Horror Reading Challenge. Also, I forgot to mention, but the information for both reading challenges will be in the description. With this one, it says, demons clash with inheritance claims as secrets unfold and violence is unleashed over 12 harrowing hours trapped in a house with the worst thing imaginable, family. Okay, so basically this one is about this girl, and so just like the title suggests, she has a mom. I think her mom maybe passed away, and she feels like the family should have been nicer to her mom. So like the family patriarch dies, and then he leaves some kind of inheritance. I think it's the house, and then so the whole family winds up trapped in this house together, and they actually become trapped in some kind of way. They have to figure out which one of the family members is an actual demon. So it sounds really fun. I have enjoyed other books by Vincent Serrato before, so I'm excited to get to this one, and I hope that it's really good. It has the potential to be my favorite of all of their books, so I'm hopeful. Next, we have a book that is not out yet. It does not come out till September, but I have an early copy because she is my favorite author. If you know me, then you know how much I love Toni Morrison, and she has a new book coming out in September called Maisie Wood. Basically, she teased this book in a short story of hers that's in the collection The Wishing Pool and Other Stories, which I actually have over there, but I forgot to get it, and I'm not finna get up and get it. But she did a short story called Incidents in Bear Creek Lodge that was like, I don't know if she did it on purpose, like she knew that she was gonna write the book and then she wrote the short story as like an introduction, or if she wrote the short story and then loved it so much that she wrote a whole book. I don't know, but I'm intrigued. Okay, so basically it is about this, like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about what it's about. It's horror. That's all I know. I'm terrible at this. Let me look up what it's about. Hold on. Okay, I'm finna read y'all what it's about. Okay, so this is a literary thriller following the grandson of a famous black actress from the 1920s to the 1940s. Now, a filmmaker himself who returns to his grandmother's cabin retreat in the California mountains only to encounter the legacy of her rage born in old Hollywood. Yeah. Anything that Toni Morrison writes, I'm gonna read it. I really don't care what it's about. That's why I didn't know what it was about before I started trying to tell y'all, because like, it don't matter. If she wrote it, I'm gonna read it, period. So very excited. It comes out September 22nd, I think, but I'm gonna try to read it before it comes out this summer, and so that I can tell y'all to go get it when it come out. Okay, next we're going to get into some classics. I have some Toni Morrison I want to read. I want to finally read Beloved, and I want to read Jazz and Paradise. I don't know if, because I didn't know this at first, but Beloved is like a trilogy where Beloved is the first book and then it has 2 other books, and I don't think that they are like super connected, but they're connected some kind of way. I have read a few different Toni Morrison books. The Bluest Eye is still my favorite, but I feel like if any one of them is going to compete with The Bluest Eye, it would probably be Beloved. But Toni Morrison herself has said that she feels like Jazz is the best book that she has ever written. So I'm very, very excited to get to that one too. Okay, so this is about a woman who escaped from slavery, but she is haunted by the ghost of a child. So like I said, I'm going into it not knowing much, but yeah, I'm really, really excited for this. And for Jazz and Paradise as well, I really don't know what those are about. I just know that they are a continuation. So I'm excited to dive into some Toni Morrison. I don't have to know what it's about. I can just know that it's Toni Morrison and want to pick it up. Just like I said with Toni Morrison, like same thing. I don't have to know what it's about. I just have to know that she wrote it and I want to read it. Okay, then we have The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honorée Jeffers. This is another one that I started before and then wasn't in the mood. But the thing is, I was actually really, really enjoying it, and then I had to put it down. And I've always wanted to pick it back up, but I never did. But like this year and this summer, I'm picking it back up because I was actually really, really enjoying it. It is incredibly thick. It is like 800 pages. I love a thick book, but sometimes it can be intimidating because also I love finishing books because I love the achievement of reading books. And so when it takes a while to finish a book, it kind of throws me off a little bit. But we're going to put in the work to finish this book this summer. And once again, I don't know much about it, except I know that it is a family saga about generations of this family. I think that it focuses on one woman, but it goes back to the past a lot, and about generations of her family and all the traumas that they have dealt with and all of the joy they have found within those traumas. So I hope it's some joy. I hope it's some joy in the trauma. Like, I just love like the intergenerational stories where we go through, like, we follow a family and we follow all descendants. I love stories like that. I'm going to read any black story like that. So I don't know much about the details, but I'm excited. I have heard nothing but amazing things about this, and I really need to read it. I really need to get a physical copy too, because I feel like it's a book that I'm going to want to annotate a lot. Next, we have Capone by Jaquel J. Once again, I don't know too much about it. I just know that like it's an urban fiction. We love a little bit of hood stuff every now and again. One of my favorite books is Demon's Dream by L. Kaysen. And I have seen people kind of, not necessarily say that they're the same thing, but like put them on the same book list. Like kind of like if you enjoy Demon's Dream, you'll enjoy Capone. So that makes me really excited to read it. I don't know if it's so much a romance or if it's just like, you know, we get into some gangster stuff. Either way, I'm set and I'm ready. Okay, and the next book is The Temple of My Familiar by Alice Walker. This is the sequel to The Color Purple. A lot of people probably don't know The Color Purple is a series as well, so there's a second book and a third book. I definitely want to read the third book too, but I might not want to read them back to back to back. So we just have the second book on my summer list. But I loved The Color Purple so much. And the thing is, I thought that I wasn't going to get that much out of reading it because I had watched the 1980s movie and it was so great. I loved it so much. I did not think that there was much more that I could get from the book. Baby, when I tell you I was wrong, the book is one of my favorite books of all time. It is one of the best books that I have ever read. I understand the hype. I get the hype. If you have not watched it, I mean, if you have not read it, look, if you have watched the movie and you think that you don't need to watch the book because you've watched the movie, then you are wrong. Go read the book. I think I was getting tongue-tied. It don't matter. Go read the book because there's so much in the book that was not in the movie. It was even more in depth. It was even more of a character study. A lot of things were included in the book that were not included in the movie so that it could appeal to a wider audience. I will say that Suge Avery going back to church and all that stuff, that did not happen. Also, Celie and Suge are gay, so that's fun. Well, Celie's gay. I think Suge is like bisexual, but either way, that's fun. That was not explored much in the movie, so I'm saying that's fun. But like, Celie was truly in love with Suge, and like, the book was just so much more in depth. Please go read the book. And so I don't know anything about the second book except for I believe that it follows the descendants of Celie and Suge. I'm pretty sure that it follows the descendants of Celie and Suge. But like, it's not a straight up connected story. Like, it's just like their descendants far down and it's going to be a whole different story. So I'm excited. Alice Walker, the writing in The Color Purple is some of the best writing that I have ever read in my entire life, if not the best writing I've ever read in my entire life. So yeah, I want to read everything that she writes. And speaking of that, I also want to read In Search of Our Mother's Gardens by Alice Walker. This one is an essay collection. Once again, I started it. Like, look, this summer is about picking up things that I started and that I know that I love, but I just wasn't in the mood, so we're picking it back up. Yeah, that's what we're doing with this too. I cannot wait to just read more Alice Walker. I feel like she could genuinely become one of my top 3 favorite authors of all time. I just want to read more of her books, so we're doing that this summer. And next we have another series that I want to continue. We have The Kill List and The Shadow Carver by Nadine Matheson. I hope I said her name right. And so I read The Jigsaw Man and The Binding Room, and I absolutely loved them. This is a thriller. It is a detective thriller. We follow a detective, Angelica Henley, on these different cases that she does. I loved the first one and I love the second one even more, so I have high hopes for the third book and the fourth book as well. And they're just different thriller mysteries. They are genuinely, like, if you like kind of like Criminal Minds type of stuff, like the kind of police, like the investigative crime stuff, you're going to love this. This is like truly an amazing thriller series so far, and I cannot wait to continue. Okay, and last but not least, we have M.F.ing Monsters by Jay Holtham. This is a horror comic book, and it is basically pitched as Evil Dead for blerds, black nerds. So I'm ready. You know, Evil Dead is definitely my type of vibe, and for it to be by a black author and for it to be a comic book, like just a short little comic book, I think that it's going to be really fun, really quick. Probably won't have a whole bunch of depth because it's only like 40 pages, but I think it's going to be really fun, and it fits some prompts for my Black Horror Reading Challenge. So yeah, I look forward to that one just being like a really fun, quick read. So let me know in the comments what is one book that you plan on reading this summer. And this video focused heavily on books that I want to read, but if you want some book recommendations, here are a few things that you can do. First of all, you can subscribe to my channel because I post a lot of book recommendations, specifically books by black authors. Or you can check out my Black Book Guide, which is a guide to over 40 of my absolute favorite books by black authors in a variety of different genres. We have fantasy, we have horror, we have nonfiction, all these things. So definitely check that out. The link to that will be in the description. And you can also watch one of these videos next. So I will see you there. Thank you for watching.